Today I am eating um, a dish from central China, from the province of Shaanxi, um, which is called liangpi. Liang means cold, and pi means skin. But in this case, it's a type of noodle. So this actually has two kinds of noodles in it. This kind of thin glutinous strips, this is called liangpi. And then I'm not actually sure what it's made from. It's very glutinous and stretchy kind of thing. I'm guessing since it's called pi, which means skin, my guess is that it comes from like leaving a film to develop on some kind of liquid, and then you take that off, and that's the noodle. So a similar thing might be, there's a thing called dough pea, which I've shown before, which is the skin that develops on tofu when you leave it to dry. So this is probably from some other kind of, I'm not sure if this is rice noodle or I think it's rice. It doesn't feel like a wheat noodle. So I'm guessing it's from some kind of rice product. And then the other part is called mianjin, which means wheat gluten. So this is just strips of gluten turned into noodles. And sometimes you can get this with another type of noodle that's called I've forgotten the Chinese one, but it's basically like spaghetti, like soba type noodles from Japanese. I prefer just with these two. At the restaurant, you can choose which of the three you want. And then this is served in the reason it's called liang, cold, is it's served cold. These are cold, and you put a sauce. So liang means cold, but it also kind of means like a fresh cold salad kind of thing. So this has a sauce that comes in three parts. It's got a liquid kind of sauce that's sort of vinegary, a little sweet, a little sour, and then it has a component that's this is mahjong. So this is like sesame paste, and then there's a component that's red chili oil. And so you can choose which parts you want. Typically, it's supposed to be, if you got it at a restaurant, it would be all of it mixed together. So that's usually what I do. I kind of try to get all the there's a lot of little sediment in these packets, so I'll try and get them all kind of mixed together. And then, see if I can actually get it open. There we go. So that's the little sort of spicy. It's not super spicy. It's just a bit of like sesame seeds, some chili paste in a red oil kind of thing. And then this is the actual sesame paste, mahjong, which adds kind of a nutty, salty flavor. And then the last bit that goes on is this the soup, the broth, basically. And this has kind of a sweet and sour flavor. And it kind of mixes together with all the other stuff. So basically, eventually it all turns into one sauce in the bowl. So then you take that and you mix it all up. I do that because sometimes there's little splinters of wood on the chopsticks. They're not always very well made. And if you kind of roll them together, or some people will like kind of rub the ends together, just kind of gets rid of any little wooden splinters so you don't eat any splinters. So this has those two kinds of noodles, and then it has other chunks of, this is like a tofu skin kind of thing, and some Tongguan, which is called cucumber. And I think there's usually some peanuts in here, but I think they're kind of falling to the bottom as I mix it. And cilantro. So you get this kind of red, soupy liquid. It's all cold with these noodles in it, so it's kind of like a cold noodle salad. And then this restaurant has a drink that's from that region. So this is a specialty like soda from that region. So you can see it says Taste of Xi'an. So Xi'an is a big city that's in this area, in the central China area of Shaanxi. This is basically just an orange soda, but it's their kind of local specialty soda. So I always get this one with it. It's just an orange soda, but I think it's interesting to have kind of the local soda. So this is the dish called liangpi. And then a typical thing to have along with this is a dish called rojiamo, which I think I've had a few different kinds of rojiamo on the channel before, but here I got two. This restaurant has two different styles, so I got one of each. Let's see. They have sort of what's called a regular rojiamo, which has kind of just a bready exterior, and then some meat on the inside. All right, it's just chopped meat in a sort of bread bun. This one's okay. That's kind of the typical northeastern style to do it. This kind of soft bun. So that style is more typical of the region I live in rather than the region that this restaurant is supposed to represent. But because we're here, they have that option because a lot of people here like that option. But then the style from Shaanxi, at this restaurant they call it Lao Tongguan. Tongguan is just a small county in that province. So they call it Lao Tongguan rojiamo. It's actually kind of like a flaky pastry. So you can see it's kind of like a laminated flaky pastry dough. The meat on the inside is the same, but it's much messier to eat because it's got all these little like flaky bits of pastry that fall off. But I quite like that kind of buttery, flaky crunchiness that this has. It's definitely much messier to eat. These flaky bits of crust kind of fall everywhere. So, rojamua is just is meat pressed between bread. So it's kind of like a type of sandwich. Sometimes it's called a Chinese hamburger. It's typically just like sort of roast pork that's been chopped up. Actually, the traditional way for the meat from this is to do it kind of like a what is that called? The way they do like shawarma, where it's a bunch of meat on a vertical pole that spins around and is heated from one side, kind of street food, and then just slice it off as it cooks. If you get this as a street food, often they'll have the meat cooked that way, just kind of sliced off bits of meat. I don't think they're doing that in a restaurant. I think they're just they're probably like slow cooking the pork and then just tearing it up. But so the traditional way when you get it as a street food is like that. So these are just two of this is the kind of bread that's more traditional in the northeast of China. So it's just, this is very similar dough to like the steamed buns that you get, but it's just been kind of like baked on either side to get it kind of a little crispy, but it's not really crispy. It's more doughy. I would say this one shows off the quality of the meat better, and the bread is just an afterthought. This other one, the bread is a major component. They're about 50-50 in terms of importance to the dish. So it's just like, it's a personal preference thing, which one you like. But the noodle dish and the flaky pastry one, those are from the province called Shaanxi. I'm probably doing the tone wrong. There's two provinces that in English sound about the same. One is Shaanxi and one is Shaanxi. In English, one is written Shaanxi, and one is written Shanxi. The difference in Chinese, they're both written like pinyin. They're both written Shan, but they just have a different tone. One is third. This one is third tone, which is the kind of down and up tone. I don't actually remember what the other tone is for the other province. I think it might be the second tone, which is rising tone, but I'm not certain about that. It could also be fourth. I'm pretty sure it's not first tone. I think it's either second or fourth tone, but I don't really remember. I have a reasonable knowledge of Chinese geography, but not like that. I'm not that well versed in it. I know most of the names of provinces. If you say a name of a province, I can probably identify that it is a province, but I can place most of them on a map, but not accurately. Like, if you show me a map and you've got one province and you switch it over by one spot, I'll probably not get it right. But if you stick a province from the southwest in the northeast, or something from central China in the southeast or something, like I'll notice that and be able to identify. Like I know the basic regions as well, but I don't know all the exact locations of everything. And some of the pronunciation I might not be great on. Yeah, this is a classic kind of street food lunch item. So this is called liangpi, and it's more often eaten in the summer. It's kind of cold today, but it's warm in my house, so like I don't really care. Liangpi and rojamo from Shaanxi province.